skipped the garden tour last week. I was very busy. We've got some China Jade cucumbers growing here. Look at those. They're ready to pick. I just wanted to leave them on so I could show how big and beautiful they are. And they're very pokey. This is the Chinese red noodle bean that is making its way up to the top of the trellis, and soon it'll be really beautiful with some long red noodle beans hanging from it. I have two other China Jade cucumber plants growing in this little pot over here so that they can meet at the top. Once they finally reach the top, they take forever. This one's been growing for a long time, and it's only like maybe a foot taller than me. It's like 6 feet tall, 6.5 feet tall. So I don't expect this side over here to get super tall super fast. Anyway, so I've got this lemon squash growing over here, and it threw off because I had it, the main stalk is growing up the trellis over here, but it threw off another stem and couple stems actually, and they're growing on the ground here. They're just hanging over the garden bed and growing on the ground now, so that's cool. I have a couple to harvest maybe tomorrow. Over here is, over on that side of the trellis, is the Boston pickling cucumber, and it is throwing out a lot of fruit. There's one right there that I need to pick maybe tomorrow. I'll let it get a little bigger. But just look at these tomato plants. Yeah, I know. It's a mess. Anyway, I have this one over here weaved through the wind chime to keep it up so that it doesn't droop down. And these two tomatillos, there's one over there and then this one here, I need to get them supported on by the trellis. Anyway, the can you see the burgundy sunflowers? They're so pretty, but these two are struggling. The one in the center and this one on the side, they haven't put out any flower heads yet, and their leaves are all dying. So I don't know, maybe they got a disease or something. Anyway, I've got some lettuces and cabbages that I have started. The spinach didn't get watered, so those ones died. This one's still making it, so that's good. A few of the spinach are making it. And I have those Swiss chard that I need to plant. These are all cabbages and kohlrabis for my fall garden. And just look at the aromas. Look at how much fruit is on these plants. They're everywhere. Fruit everywhere. This is just the second Roma plant, and this one, I've already picked one Roma tomato off of it. It started blushing last week. And then here's another with just tons of Romas all over this plant. So fruit is coming in, and they'll be ripening up here real soon, I guess. Not real soon, it takes them a while. But anyway, this here is a blue cream. This one is the blue cream, and this one is the Brad's Atomic Grape. However, in my Facebook group that I joined for Baker Creek Seeds, everyone is just saying how their Brad's Atomic grape tomatoes are not grape size. They're more like a large plum size, which is what I have encountered as well. Anyway, I've got some Tom Thumb lettuces growing here, and I have some in this bed too. Not sure if you can see them back there. They're not doing quite as well as these ones are over here, but that's okay. It's an experiment, really. This whole garden is an experiment. Anyway, look at this mess. This is a beautiful mess, a really beautiful mess. This plant has a ton of cherry tomatoes growing on it, just a ton. And this one I need to stake up to the post that I stuck in there to keep it supported because it's starting to fall over. Look what finally bloomed. I've got some really big, tall gold flowers. What are those? Marigolds. And some of them are just not blooming. They're just getting really big and tall. Anyway, I've spotted some more little cherry tomatoes that are ripening. They're just everywhere. There's some over here too. This one is a red variety. I'm not sure, it was a volunteer, so I'm not really sure what kind it is. It's just, it'll be fine. But this one is a sun gold. And here is San Marzano. However, there we go. That's the San Marzano, the one that's growing on the trellis on the other side. This one here is a breakfast, what is it called? Kellogg's breakfast. That one and that one. And this one's probably Kellogg's breakfast also, I forget. I'd have to go back and look. But anyway, so here's one of those really tall, leggy marigold flowers that I planted. They're just really strange. They don't even look like marigolds. This is supposed to be a Hungarian heart. It's not really heart-shaped. This one's sort of heart-shaped. It's a little misshapen. This one is definitely heart-shaped. Look at that. Look at, well, that one's a little wonky too, but here we go. Here's a heart-shaped one. Look at that. And that one, I don't know what that is. I just don't know. It's definitely not a Hungarian heart-shaped, but that's what I planted. The Dr. Witchy that was over here kind of branched out as it was growing, and it had two branches. I think I probably shouldn't have let that happen because they were fighting for all the nutrients and energy, and only put out a couple little tomatoes, and then the plant fell over and died in a storm that we had, and so I just pulled it out, but not before I saved a couple suckers from it. So we've got two more Dr. Witchies growing up here, and then there's that one. And we were able to have our first tomato sandwich from one of those Dr. Witchy tomatoes that that we were able to save from it. Looks like I got a little cat facing on that one. And then there's another one back there. Anyway, so we've got some peppers growing. These are either yellow or white scallop, little patty pans. And this is the other one, not really sure. It's either yellow or white. And look, I've got some ground cherries growing, and they're getting really big. So this is my first year, and we've already been able to sample them. See, when they fall to the ground like that, that means that one was ready. So it's just like a tomatillo, where it's surrounded by this little paper thingy, paper skin, and they're super teeny, but they're really yummy. Kind of has like a I don't know, somewhat pineapple-y taste to it. Anyway, mosquitoes are just swarming me right now. And I've just spotted a ripe blue cream. It's super tiny. It's not like some of the ones that I'm getting from that trellis over there. But look at that. Little blue cream. And these ones are really sweet when they're ready. They're good. That miniature plant is a Pinocchio, and that one is a Muhammad. And they've got some good fruit set. I sent Jesse's plant home, and he has the they have the other Pinocchio miniature one in their kitchen window. This is a Brad's Atomic Grape, and just look at that cluster. Look at that. And look at this cluster. I mean, just huge. And these ones are starting to ripen. And so are those. And look, this is a Chinese flag color, is what I have it labeled as. But so far there's only they're only purple. So maybe it's the Phileas blue. Maybe I mislabeled it. I don't know. I thought I was doing a good job keeping a track of all of the labeling, but I guess not. This is my little pepper section in this bed, and they are growing up the trellis very nicely. These three in the front are mini bells, so they're supposed to be growing mini bell peppers, just the small ones. And this one is orange jalapeno. It's a little bushy. It's taken a while. It was stunted, I'm sure, but hopefully it'll take off. It's been getting really warm. So this one here is a poblano. I'm really excited for the poblanos, to be honest. What is this one in the middle? Probably, oh, it's another poblano. Cool. So the poblanos get pretty tall. And the one on the side down here is not growing very tall yet. It's probably being shaded too much by all of that mess. That beautiful mess. I call it a mess, but it's beautiful. Anyway, probably getting too much shade, but that is a California Wonder. And look at my little succulent gardens. There's some mushrooms growing in that one. Not cool, man, not cool. And there's the other one. They're doing good. I went ahead and planted some more squash in this bin, and a couple over here. They're the Costada Romanescos. So hopefully, as these ones peter out, these ones will grow and start producing. And I don't know what variety this little tomato plant is. I forgot. It's got a little stick in there somewhere to tell me, but by looking at the size of them, they are probably spoon tomatoes. I'm gonna taste it. When they're ripe, they're sweet. This one over here is the Burantino, I believe. And it has a fruit that size. So that's cool. Here's another teeny tiny little tomato plant. And this one, let's see, what's this labeled as? Phileas Blue. So I guess I did mislabel that one over there because look at it. It is also got purple fruits on it. And so is this one because I planted 2 Phileas Blues in this green stalk. So I guess that's what that one is over there too. Yummy. Another tall, leggy marigold. This one's called the Sunrise Bumblebee. That one's starting to ripen. Look at all these little garden candies for me. I'm gonna nibble on them. Anyway, I've got some basils and just all kinds of things in this green stalk that are gonna be good, yummy food. That's another miniature tomato that I can see has some fruit setting on it. I don't know what variety that is. Could be the I planted 2 yellow micros. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Yellow micro, yellow micro. So look at those fruits on them. Cool. So I've been having a lot of the leaves on this fig tree turn yellow like this. So I've just been picking them off, but that's not a good sign, is it? Here's this front bed. Another beautiful mess. But look, I have some yellow grape tomatoes. And this variety is called the date fruit. Look at all those down there. So the date fruit is yellow, and when they are ripe, they are so good. Anyway, moving right along. Look at this pretty little flower. This is one of my celosia, and this one is called Chief Rose. Isn't that pretty? And then I planted another one over here. Not sure which one that'll be. But here's another one of those plants that I thought was a miniature variety. And this one is called, what's this called? Brandywine. Brandywine. So, plum tomatoes. Cool. Anyway, this is the one that I've been harvesting all of the larger ripe blue creams from. And I've had a few. There's that plant on the trellis and these 2, which are both green doctor grape tomato, cherry tomatoes, my bad. And they're not ready yet, but when they're ripe, they are so sweet and they stay green. So they're kind of hard to tell when they're ready. They become more of a limey color, sort of like that. Anyway, I planted a bunch of beets in between the plants over here and over there on that bed over there. So we'll have some beets growing, hopefully. Doesn't look like they're all popping up. I have a hard time starting things from seed in this soil mixture for some reason. But look at these celosia. Aren't they pretty? They're not very bushy, but I tend to grow things that are pretty leggy, probably because of all the shade that we get over here. They're growing tall, searching for the sun. This is just another random sucker that I pulled and started, and I've had good luck with all the suckers, because there's 2 more that I just stuck in this shallow bed of dirt, and they took off like crazy. And 1, 2, 3 more over here, and then over here I have more suckers, 3 more suckers over here that I took off of these San Marzanos. However, only one of these so far is a true San Marzano shape. That's this one. Starting to blush. This one is not a San Marzano shape, but it was, all 4 of these were from the San Marzano seeds. Anyway, those are huge. Look at those. Look how big these are. So big. And they're not San Marzano shape. They start out looking like that little pumpkin-y thing. And then they grow a little bigger, looking like that. And then the one over here on this side is not even shaped like that pumpkin. They're just regular round tomatoes. And these ones that look like are starting to blush, so they'll be ready soon. Anyway, I don't know. It's fine. I'm just very curious to know what they are. I've got 3 Boston picklers that I need to plant, like seriously need to plant. I'm gonna put them over on the trellis over here that we just cleared. Had all those seeds that were drying up from the fall garden. So over here I'm gonna put the 3 Boston picklers on this trellis, and then I'll put all those suckers, the tomato suckers, in this garden bed over here. And then we still have some onions that are growing up front, on the front of that bed. These are my chives, more flowering. These are bush beans, a whole bunch of bush beans. And look at this gorgeous trellis full of beans. Well, I've been picking all the beans daily, pretty much. When I get home from work in the morning, I'll come and get my morning harvest of everything in the garden. But I feel like they're starting to slow down, which is okay. I mean, I've gotten a lot of beans from these. This one needs to be picked. A lot of beans, but they're also still throwing off little runners, new runners. So that's promising. We'll continue to get a harvest from these little runners. I'm just trying to place this runner on some of these vines so it can grow up one of those vines. Anyway, yeah, look at this. It's so gorgeous, isn't it? I just love this trellis. And then there's more runners that just keep, like, they find each other and then become intertwined with one another. And sometimes I come in and I'll unwind them and then wind it through, train it through the trellis. But sometimes I just let it go, and that's what they do. That's what they look like when they go. They just reach for the sky. So this side is the green, and the green beans are starting. They're not quite as prolific as the purple ones. So the purple ones are definitely one for the garden every year. They will always have a spot on the trellis. Also, they're easier to find because they're not green like the leaves. So I find myself searching for green beans because look at these. They get so big sometimes that because I've left them because I couldn't find them. That I thought maybe they were stems as they were smaller when they were growing when I'm out here. So like this, look at this. It's pretty big. It'll probably still be good though. But anyway, the bean trellises are doing well. Look at all these little cucamelons we got here. This is the cucamelon trellis, and they're everywhere. I've sort of let them come over to the squash plant here and just kind of grow up the squash plant also, because why not? They're both here. Might as well, right? Might as well. Anyway, I got a couple lemon squash from this one yesterday. There's one growing. Another little baby there. And this one is one of the straight necks. It's got a fruit growing there. It came out into the walkway, so I just let it be. And all of the peppers over here are kind of leggy. They're getting too much shade because of that tree. But looks like this stupid little bush that was growing here before is starting to try to grow again. Anyways, these peppers are doing good. This one has a bunch of peppers on it already, and this is the lemon jalapeno. So they're going to be yellow. That's why they're so light. They're going to be yellow. And this one has some. This is the grande jalapeno. Got some Swiss chard back there. That's what I've been harvesting from. And the lemongrass is doing well. There is all of the asparagus. I think some of them that were over in this little section died from the heat because I didn't water it all this week while I was working. It was a busy week and I was very tired. Anyway, so the garden suffered, and just look at this wall of tomatillos. I have some growing in there, 2 plants in the center, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants growing all along this half of the trellis. This is a 12-foot trellis. Look at how tall they are. They're like, seriously, this trellis is probably up 6 feet, and they're a good 2.5, 3 feet taller than the trellis. So anyway, they're doing good. Look at them. Tomatillos everywhere on these 2 bushes. A couple of them in here. These ones haven't started to produce any fruit yet, but maybe they're just slow, I guess. But there's one over here that I keep seeing that has kind of poked out of its little husk. Ooh, this one's nice and full. This one here, this one's nice and full. That one's growing well. But one of them has poked out of its husk, and I don't see it anymore. What happened to it? Did it get eaten by someone? Anyway, you can see that it's it was a yellow. See, when you squeeze them, you can feel how big they are when they're growing. And the globes are much bigger than the fruit. Anyway, I don't know, I've lost it. It was in this little area. But it was yellow and it was really cute. And I was excited about it because that one was the tomatillo amarillo. And then these ones are all the grande tomatillos. So maybe that's why it takes them a little longer, because they got to grow big. I don't know. Anyway, tomatillos are doing well. The sage bush is growing big, and so are the basil. The basil bushes are really big too. The dill has fallen, but that's okay, and they're going to seed. That's okay. And this is a lemon squash that I planted. This one also is a tomatillo amarillo, and you can see that that one has a lot of fruit on it. Also, I need to pick it up and support it on this green thing, green stick in there. Anyway, just another view of this side of the garden bed. I finally planted those 2 little peppers. I can't remember what they are. I don't think I even saved the sticks. But that one looks like it might be a mini bell because it has a fruit growing on it, a pepper. But they need some food because they're very yellow, and maybe they'll start growing after that. But I don't think it was quite this season to grow this. What are these again? I forget. Fennel. I don't think it was a season to grow fennel in the summer. Isn't fennel like a fall, maybe a fall winter crop? I don't know. I bought it from that plant lady. That's the chocolate mint and the other tiers of the garden stock. So that's what's growing. That's how the garden is doing. The garden is doing really, really well. And I couldn't be happier.